If you're at average or low fitness right now, you're effectively on a fast track to losing your independence before you even hit retirement. This is why you need to fix your weight before it's too late, because you aren't just losing your waistline, you're running out of freedom. But here's the good news. If you want to shift your curve up, you don't need to do more or try harder. After years on the yo-yo cycle, spending $27,000 on weight loss and coaching for the past 8 years, I can tell you what the data actually shows. You've been doing the right things at the wrong time. And to make the order of the right things at the right time obvious, I built something I call the weight loss hierarchy of needs. A simple top-down checklist that tells you in about 5 minutes the 1 to 2 things that actually matter right now, so you can safely ignore everything else. But I didn't respect this hierarchy at first, and I paid for it twice. The first time it happened, I was 35,000 feet over Wyoming. My tray table was down, my laptop was open, and I was trying to squeeze in 3 hours of work before landing. I was too busy to even watch a movie. Suddenly, the cabin felt like it had run out of oxygen. I wasn't having a heart attack, but my chest felt like it was being crushed by an invisible weight. I had to unbuckle my seatbelt just to expand my lungs. I felt trapped, not just in that seat, but in a body that could no longer keep up with the pace of life I was trying to lead. See, I used to think my weight was a vanity problem, something I tried to fix, fail at, and then kick down the road until life calmed down. But it turns out my weight, or more precisely, my eat crap between meetings, pay for a gym I never go to lifestyle, was a tax I was paying on every single breath. What scared me most wasn't that it happened once. It was not knowing when it would happen again. On a flight, in a movie theater, in the middle of a meeting. That fear is what finally made me take my health seriously. And with that seriousness came clarity. The decision to stop messing around with plans I knew from day one I'd never sustain. There's a meme that perfectly describes what happened next. Yesterday, I completed a chore that I'd been putting off for 5 months. It took me 20 minutes. I will learn nothing from this. What took me years of trying and failing, I solved in 6 months once I became clear on 1, identifying the smallest thing I could change in my routine that would move me the most toward my healthy eating, and 2, only doing that one thing until my fat loss got stuck, no matter how bored or tempted I got to add more. But unlike the meme, I did learn my lesson. I stuck to this 2-step process till I reached my goal size of 20% body fat, and then kept going for the next 10 years by adding more and more longevity habits until, by the time I was 39, I thought I had solved health. I was 20% body fat, I was fit, I was consistent, I thought the work was done. Then, in a split second on a bouldering wall, the physics of the world took over. I fell. I heard the sound of my own spine breaking. As I lay there, I realized that the clarity I had found years earlier, the boring, repetitive habits I'd built, were no longer about preparing for health when I was 70. It was about whether or not I'd ever walk again now. I had blind luck on 2 fronts. The way I fell and having excellent surgeons, but I also had earned luck. When the doctors saw me walking the day after the surgery, at week 1 getting up to 5,000 steps, and at week 4 climbing stairs with alternating feet, they told me the only reason I was seeing a faster recovery than 99% of people is the muscle and condition I had built. All those years spent doing boring basics was my armor at just 39. That's why when people come to me wanting to get their health, body, and freedom back, and I see them putting it off for another year, or giving up because they think they're too old, it doesn't frustrate me. It makes me sad. Because the reason they're stuck isn't the lack of time. It's the same thing that once kept me stuck too: lack of clarity. In his book Die with Zero, Bill Perkins talks about time buckets. Most of us think we take care of our health in our 20s, 30s, and 40s so we can still be active after 55. But Bill points out something we all miss. Experiences don't expire at a specific age. They expire by decade. He shares a story about a friend who took 3 months off at 22, even taking out a high-interest loan just to pack back around the world. On paper, it looked irresponsible. Bill didn't do it. Years later, Bill had the money, but not the window. By then, he had a wife, kids, a mortgage, and more importantly, that version of him no longer wanted that experience. This can feel uncomfortable because I know firsthand you're going to realize how short a time you have for certain experiences you dream of. But this is what will stop you from continuing to kick the can down the road and fix your health, the vehicle for any experience you want in life, before it's too late. If you have kids or plan to have any, some of these buckets are already filled for you by their phases of growth. If you don't have kids like me, I'm sure you have dreams for your life that fit in one decade but not another. When you're commuting or have downtime today, don't scroll. Open your notes app. Jot down, what can you only do in this decade? Take 15 minutes today. Ignore the other decades for now. You don't need to perfect it. Clarity comes from revisiting it, not writing the perfect list once. Once you have this clarity, now we can talk about the actual 1 to 2 changes to do. You've probably heard of Maslow's theory of human motivation. The core idea is that while humans need all 5 levels, unless the bottom levels are fulfilled, like safety, we don't make much progress in acquiring the higher levels, like creativity. What I've found is that weight loss has an analogous hierarchy of needs. Most people try to optimize level 5, advanced workout splits, perfect macros, intuitive eating, while they're still failing at the base level needs of biology and life fit. At this level, answer yes or no to these questions, no maybes. Vision. I have a daily reminder of my time buckets. Biology. I'm eating in a 15% calorie deficit for the past 3 weeks. Reality. My eating approach fits my typical schedule, not my perfect week. Sustainability. I can imagine eating this way a year from now. Here's how to use this in real life. When I did keto years ago, I passed level 1 in month 1, so I moved up to level 2, regulation, to work on stress eating. But by month 2, I realized I couldn't sustain keto long term. Instead of dropping back down to level 1 and finding a more sustainable approach, I tried to force level 2 on top of a broken level 1. And eventually, the whole system crashed. The secret to staying on the wagon isn't trying harder, it's being proactive. If you can't check a box at level 1, you have to let go of the higher level and go back to fixing the foundation. These are the checklists for each level. You can grab a link to the PDF in the description below. The process here is simple. 1. Go through each level and check what's true today, not what you wish was true. 2. Find the lowest level with the most unchecked boxes. 3. Work only on those boxes. You're officially allowed to ignore everything else. When we look at the data from our clients, we see about 90% of them came in stuck at levels 1 or 2. If you find yourself there too, you have 2 ways to fix those unchecked boxes. 1, if you want my help shortcutting the trial and error so you can reach your goal body and your goal life as fast as possible, you can learn more about my weight loss program in the description and comments below. Or if you want to DIY it, then you don't want to ignore the fundamental basics. In this video right here, I show you my boring system, the exact step-by-step breakdown of how to automate levels 1 and 2 so they run in the background of your life with almost zero effort. So you don't want to miss the complete step-by-step breakdown here. And always remember, you can do it.